turn off the fucking Gary Newman for a second here. Damn, drive through Vegas. It's a little bit of a weird journey sometimes. What am I talking about? All right, a lot of traffic. What do I know about driving? Oh, NSD. That's no self-deprecation. You know, I've been thinking. Let me take earplugs out. Yeah, I drive with earplugs in. Once you've had a ear injury, where you temporarily damage your hearing, or permanently, you wear earplugs on long drives. I wear them anytime I fucking drive anywhere, unless I'm going like down the block. Which if I'm going down the block, I'm probably gonna fucking walk, take my bike, not drive. I'm thinking about death. I've been thinking about death a lot lately. Now, I'm not somebody who thinks, oh, it means something. It means someone's gonna die in my family. I mean, there's always that possibility that that could happen. That's what happens, right? You're fucking born and then you die, right? It's like a guarantee. But I've just been thinking about it a lot lately. And, you know, I think most people spend most of their lives not thinking about death. Especially your childhood, your teens, your 20s. It takes a while before you're finally like, that's what's waiting, right? Only one person I can think of right now who doesn't think it's disturbing. That's Trent. Which, a minute and 38 seconds in, you might be listening still. But yeah, he's just doesn't fear it, and he's kind of the one who says like you were born, right? Like, do you remember what happened before you were born? The answer's no. Generally, you're not gonna remember. You know, you're not gonna exist after death. A lot of people think otherwise. I'm aware. Not here to talk about that. So what am I here for? I guess just to talk about my feelings on death. I've just been like, it kind of has deepened my love for my cats. You know, like I kiss their heads right on that little white spot in front of their ears, right? I kiss them, and I think like I was taking pictures of them before I left today, and I was like, this could be the last time, and I really mean that. And I know philosophic types and spiritualists will reply to that with, we should all live more like that. I don't necessarily think we should. It's just what's happening to me. I'm not even doing it. It's happening, all right? Thinking about my own death, thinking about the death of others, and it could be because motherfuckers die. The older you get, the more motherfuckers die. I just went to message a fan of mine because I wanted to talk to him about some of my new music stuff, and I just wanted to check in with him, quite frankly. And he's dead, and it's so fucked up. I'm like, it's like you go to message them and it's a remembrance page or a celebration of life. Is that what they call it? Remembering them. Fucking crazy. You know, if you've lived and partied and stuff, then you have every possibility that you could have accidentally checked out with drugs or drunk driving or whatever. Crazy incident, you know. Seems like a cop here, I can't tell. If you're not a cop, then you don't get those things put on your car, right? You don't get crazy mirrors put on. You don't get all this other stuff put on. So I'm gonna have to presume it is. We'll see if I'm right. You know, the kinds of people who don't get those, or who get the, I was right, by the way, Highway Patrol. Huh. Wonder where their jurisdiction is and isn't. That's curious. Yeah, people who aren't cops who get those, like, battering ram things put on the front of their cars. You notice my tone completely changed, right? Isn't that what happens when a cop rolls through? No matter what. If you're doing everything by the letter of the law. I think it's a history of being a scofflaw with regards to drugs and alcohol. So I'm thinking about my cats, how much I love them. I really, you know what? Speaking of scoff, I've really scoffed at ESAs in the past. That's emotional support animal, for those of you who don't know. But I understand it now and respect it. And, what's the word? I regret being as closed-minded and judgmental about it as I was in the past. see we can grow. But yeah, I feel so close to my cats that I don't even like leaving the house. Leaving to go to San Francisco is like, I just want to bring them with me. But there's too many and they don't like driving cars. I understand, I get it. But I think about, my parents are still alive. A lot of people can't say that, and that's really sad. It's fucked up is what it is. I have plenty of dead friends. More each year. None of my friends are dead. Well, maybe don't hang out with drug users. You know? Yeah, I wake up every morning and I ask myself, the first thing I usually think, I mean, if Cheney jumps up on me, I just grab him and pull him in my neck and it's so wonderful, but I ask myself right away, like, am I alive? It's quite a concept, and it's one that often gets ignored, and again, we should all be thinking about our own mortality. I don't make rules for other people. I don't make suggestions for other people, and I don't give advice to other people. Unless they ask me for it, then I'll fucking give it. Have you ever been so self-important that you thought everybody else should be doing the things that you're doing? You know? That they should be thinking the things that you think? That they should believe in the things you believe in? Hashtag, a lot of religious people have, obviously. But it's not just them. I've done it. It's kind of like a sort of arrogance, which you learned in my last video. The definition for arrogance is an offensive sense of superiority. People don't think they're arrogant, though. You know, when I was on my spiritual journey for all those years, I don't know, I've never talked about that. There's something interesting there. We'll go over it one day, another day. But when I was on that journey, I certainly looked at people with a lot of disdain and thought that the way I was doing things was right and the way they were doing things was wrong. It really takes a certain maturity. Maybe as you're like getting closer to 40. What is it, February, March, April? 2 months, I'm going to be 37. I think about that. Oh, fuck. I think about being 40. For so long, it just seems like I was 26 forever. Like I was late 20s for a really long time, which I guess, what does that really mean? It probably just means that the time, the way your brain operates on a chemical level regarding your perception of time and space in your late 20s is different than it is in your late 30s or your mid to late 30s. What else would it be? I mean, the time was not any different. A day is a day, a minute is a minute. I think as you age, possibility, and I did mean that in the singular sense, possibility just becomes more and more limited, right? It's just like time is so fucked. Again, I lead a pretty busy life, you know. I spend a lot of time working on my projects, spend a pretty considerable amount of time working to make a living, spend a lot of time with my cats, I spend a lot of time reading, doing the things I like, juggling, playing guitar. I spend a hell of a lot of time working on my music and my art projects. So what does that give you? A pretty filled up schedule. So like, hey, tonight, wouldn't it be fun to go down to Pepper's Cantina? Yeah, Les, you want to just call one of my few friends in St. George? Why don't I just call one of my few friends and let's just do something spontaneous and go to Pepper's Cantina? That, my dear listener, YouTube subscriber, friend probably, almost never happens. Spontaneity is fucking dead. It really is. It's like, it's fucking deader than a doornail. What the fuck is a doornail? I guess a nail that you would use in a door? Like, my understanding of doors has more to do with hinges and the bolts and the latches, but... yeah, spontaneity is fucking dead. And there's something, if you think about, like, childhood, yeah, plenty of shit is planned. I know less and less over time, like, the parents schedule all the activities to keep the kids busy, which, what the fuck? Why? Why do that? What do you get out of that? What does your kid get out of being even busier, possibly, than he's going to be when he's 45? I'll probably never fucking have kids. I mean, that's almost a goddamn certainty at this point. I sincerely hope, because I don't want them. I thought I wanted kids for a long time. And you know what it was based around? Oh, my book collection. I gotta keep my book collection so I can give it to little Johnny. Oh, God, I gotta keep my CD collection. I can't give that away. I might want it one day for my kids. They'll want to look at old pictures of me. They'll want to see what I was like when I was 15. Those aren't reasons to have a kid. You know? Does that make sense? I also just assumed. I assumed I would have a wife and a car. I assumed my life would look like everybody else's that I grew up around. And that ended up not being precisely true. You know? My life's a little different. I live in a house in St. George, Ivins, Utah, with 6 cats, with no other humans. Most days, the only human I see is like a CVS clerk or a Walgreens clerk or one of the gym employees who we say, "Hey, how are you, Bill?" to each other. That's most days. I don't see anybody. I don't mean I don't see anybody. I mean I don't see anybody on a daily basis. It's the people that are in my life routinely, other than a few friends, really are just like the water store lady, the Walgreens clerk. Point being, that's a lot different than the family unit. That's a lot different than, "Honey, would you like a cup of tea? Oh, honey, did you remember this thing? Oh, can you bring me this thing? Would you do me a big favor?" It's like, you do it all. When you're single in the house, you do it all, and I do mean all of it. Ken Bruin, you don't know him. He's a writer. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Maybe you do know him, but I'm right? You never, like I said Ken Bruin, and you were like, "Oh shit, Ken Bruin," right? Okay, don't be mad at me for saying that then. It wasn't meant to be pretentious. He's just like a very popular Irish crime writer. Okay, that's pretty obscure in its own way, even though it's also not if you're into literature. Being into literature, that shit's funny. So, he's got a thing though. He talks about being single, and he's like always talking about washing the dishes, like right after they're done, right when they're ready, pretty much. And he's like, of course I could just chill and like let them pile up, like nothing's gonna happen. But he kind of described it as like it's the one thing that still makes him feel part of humanity, is like taking care of your shit. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. It was a poignant moment. What's poignant mean? Yeah, that's a good one, because everybody talks about, they use the word poignant. So that's a good insult if somebody says something that they think is really important or like profound. You can be like, "Wow, that was really poignant." It's a good word. It's spelt like poignant, but it just means deeply felt. Or there's one other good definition for it. Profound or deeply felt. That's poignant. So I guess that my life looks different than a lot of other people's. That's totally fine. It strikes me as remarkable though, and it makes me feel things. I don't want to say it makes me feel weird. It makes me feel funny. It makes me feel some things. You know? Well, what are those things? Well, am I doing something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Am I living my life wrong? You know? Am I making a mistake by being glued to providing for these cats and myself and trying to build a financial future for myself and make money? Am I spending so much time working on my creative pursuits that I don't know, not seeing my family enough? I can't see the, I don't want to get into like the idea of wives and stuff. That's its own thing. And I don't want to say I can't get personal on here, but there's certain things that I don't like getting that personal about, because individuals may watch them and have hurt feelings. I don't want anybody to have hurt feelings. "Oh, wow, you're a saint. You're such a good guy. You don't want people to have hurt feelings?" All right, get off my fucking tail with that, all right? Come on. I mean it, though. So where was this all going? I'm thinking about death. I'm thinking about living my life wrong. I'm thinking about spontaneity being non-existent in my life. Everything's planned. That motherfucker's going fast as shit. An Infiniti. Wow. It's kind of a cool sight when a car is just like bing, flying past every other motherfucker, weaving all over the place. There's a cop right up there. I don't know what they really get from going almost 20 over the speed limit and trying to be a fucking badass. At the same time, I do get it. I can't stand when motherfuckers drive too slow. My dad talks about, like, he's like, yeah, I drive in this one speed, this one stretch of road he drives on is like 35 miles an hour, right? And he's like, but that's the speed limit. That's only the fastest you're supposed to go. So I drive 30 on it. And he's like, people hate it. They tailgate me. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, no shit. Like, definitely, I would hate it. Like, everybody hates it. Like, 35 means you go 41, right? Basically, or at least 40, for God's sake. I'm not much of a speeder. I just do 5 to 8 over, depending on if we're on a road or a highway. Wow. How poignant, how profound. The default, self-deprecation. Can I wrap it up nicely? Yeah, this was really nice talking about death and life, spontaneity, futures, conformity, suburbia, expectations, societal norms.